Hey guys, Luxker here. Welcome back to more Xenosaga Pied Piper fan recreation. With all our preparations complete, it's time to continue our path to search for Voyager inside of its deep dark descent. As we go forward in this area, you will notice that this area is being surrounded by Udu's energy with pink crystals and blue everywhere. Get these remaining chests that are right over here in this area. And let's get into a battle. Wow, it's just such amazing music. Just the energy just coming right at you with that battle theme. It's just such a I can't just say this much more enough. Just go listen to Bob's OST on YouTube. Like, I already have the playlist in a previous video, but you should freaking listen to this freaking music. Just get it into your ears or something like that. So, okay. Yeah, sure, let's hear the amazing music one more time. For these enemies right here, these Nereias, they're basically the same enemies as before, so I want to just go ahead and, like, run roughshod on them, basically. Except they're resistant to ice moves, so maybe it wasn't the best option at the end of the day. Yeah, so these guys are just lasering us. Why not? Alright, that battle was won. And we have this little rock right here. This right here, if you shoot it, it will turn into ice, which has some chilling effects on nearby enemies when you get close to them. But we won't get to see this in a little bit, though. So, these red things right here, these are basically your portals that transport you all around in different dungeons here. So, definitely keep that in mind. We got another one right here. So we get to see what the effects are for these rocks when enemies get too close to them. So right here we got a new enemy. These are Arios. These guys are resistant to physical moves, but are also immune to fire attacks as well and weak to beam. So definitely just kind of do stuff with them. But if you confiscate the Arios, you get... Okay, well, I'll have to do that again real shortly here. I am gonna go ahead and do Beat Buster on these guys. Yeah. Alright, so... Okay, bugs. And... okay then. Well, I guess we're not gonna see what we're gonna get with them. So when you confiscate the Arios, you will get a ruby from them when you do that. So it's really nice to be able to get that taken care of. Bugs learn Thunderbolt 3. We'll get to see that in a later fight right here. Going in, decoding segment address 10 in here, we get a shock absorbent suit. This is Melissa's best armor. It raises her vitality and ether defense by over 20 points and gives her more boost power on top of that. It lowers her ether attack by like 4 points. And that ultimately, even though it might seem like it's not a great thing at the end of the day, having more boost power is actually much more beneficial for bosses coming up. So it makes her much more stronger because of that. So since we are very close to closing this adventure out, I want to talk a little bit about the title of this game, Pied Piper. It comes from the Pied Piper of Hamelin, a well-known German folklore. The story goes that Hamelin, a monastery built in central Germany, was built to house the villagers who live in the monastery. Centuries have gone by until one day in 1284, a plague of rats infested the city. Then, one day, a piper dressed up in multicolored or pied clothing came along, claiming to be the one to have a solution to the rat infestation. The mayor of Hamelin, in turn, promised the Pied Piper 1,000 guilders to remove the rats from the city. The piper graciously accepted the offer and played his pipe to lure the rats into the Weser River, where they were all drowned. Right here we get a Barbello Knuckle. It's a weaker weapon than the one that Jan currently has, but it increases its vitality by a little bit if it ever helps you. Despite the Pied Piper succeeding in killing every rat in the city, the mayor reneged his promise and only paid him 50 guilders. The mayor even went so far as to blame the piper for bringing the rats himself to extort the city. The Pied Piper was furious at the mayor and vowed to return and take revenge on the townsfolk. On June 26 of 1284, which happened to be St. John and Paul's Day, all adults were in the church. The piper has returned. Dressed in green like a hunter, he began playing his pipe. Doing this, the song the piper played on his flute attracted the town's 130 children. He lured them out of the town into the mountain's cave to be never seen again. The phrase ever since its conception has been used as a metaphor for someone attracting a following through charisma or false promises. There are many notable people in history who represent this Pied Piper phenomenon, from dictators to frauds, attention shillers, and grifters on the internet, including terrorists as well. We all know who they could be. Going back here, we have, we're going into this one maze here, and we picked up a Zig muscle right here. This gives Jan a lot of attack power, but it lowers his vitality and ether defense and agility when equipped, so I would say, because Jan is much more situated for being a supportive character, he's just much more useful just to, just cut the attack power by a little bit and have him be much more of a tank, because, just from that alone. Right here is a Delta Edge 3. It's kind of a worse weapon for Melis. We already got her ultimate weapon, already, but it increases her luck by 12 points. I just don't think it's really useful to me, but maybe you will find it a little bit useful just like that, so. Right here we have a bit of a maze here of portals that we have to go through. That one's kind of like a cheap one right there that you have to go into, that you just have to go to yourself, so I'll have to find the portal for that later. Yeah, sure, why not? We'll have to fight you. So we got heavy UMN terrorists right here. Definitely some new enemies that we have to that we are now coming across. They're very weak to ice attacks. If you already have Imperial Judgment just out here loaded up, this will be pretty much a cakewalk. But right here, when you confiscate them, they get you a ruby from that, so the same that you get from the Arios. So yeah, pretty helpful stuff right there. They're also not resistant to beam attack, so using beam is also another good option to do here. Even though it kind of doesn't do a lot of damage judging by this alone. And oh my god, we are very low on HP. I will do Mecha Ammo on your turn, Melis, just so we're pretty much healed from these guys. These guys, I don't think they're too hard. I think they're, like, a lot of these enemies are basically just HP sponges, but they can also do some pretty unexpected things, too, so. Also, oh my god, the part where it just goes like, da-da-da-da, it's just such a great, like, powerful theme in general. Like, I can't underestimate, like, Wow Bob Wow is just such a talented musician and composer. Like, he's just such a great one in general. Oh, man. Alright. But sadly, the battle music, the amazing battle music can't last long, because now we are still going through here. Alright, everyone's level 31 from that fight, and Bugs learned Beam Bolt 3. We'll eventually get to use all these 3 moves right here very soon, because they're much stronger versions. I think they're like the strongest version of the attacks we got so far. I want to say the one on the left is the one that goes to the place I want to go to. Yes, it is. Okay, great. We got Cretias. That's just a weaker weapon for Lactus. We already have Lactus's ultimate weapon already, but yeah, right here is our final segment address of the adventure. Segment address 13, which we can now open. And in this treasure is the Evangelist. This is one of the best necklaces in the game. This gives you more BP charge by 25% and gives you more experience in gold after battles. You bet I'm giving this on Jan because he needs to catch up with the rest of the party on levels. Also, really quick, that we just leveled up here, I'm gonna go ahead and give Bugs the EP plus 5 skill. Alright, continuing back on our adventure here. There is one more portal that I want to go into. Because, like, it's that one portal that we saw earlier that, didn't get us a little bit further onwards here. But yeah, I'll be perfectly honest, I really like the look of this final dungeon. Really gets you powered up within the moment just before you meet Voyager. Such a great, like, area that's just created, and it just looks even better in the fan recreation too. Like, I could have imagined, like, back in the OG version, it would look pretty cool. It would look pretty cool just on the phone itself with the moving background and stuff. But right here, it just looks so much cooler, and the colors just really pop out in general. Just such a great, like, final dungeon in general. Right here, where is it? Is a Vector Cross. This increases Lactus's strength and ether attack, but basically lowers all stats including agility and luck, which are Lactus's best stats. So it's not the most useful thing in the world to have, unless if you want to have Lactus much more strength and ether focused. But the Nano Care Code is just basically the best armor that we already have going into this, so. But going forward, I want to talk about Voyager a little bit more. It's safe to say that Voyager is the representation of Pied Piper in this story. Not only is he capable of manipulating people's brains in order to follow whatever order they please, the Goodwill Ambassadors, the fetuses from Jacob Medical and Printing, the Taurus Foundation, Julius XVIII, Mikhail, Dmitry Yuriev, and finally, people of Zohar. The Goodwill Ambassadors and the fetuses make sense due to them being children, or babies, and how the actual Pied Piper of Hamelin is synonymous with stealing children away. Voyager doesn't use a pipe to lure in these people or children, but rather verses from the 16th book of Revelation. The chapter mainly describes the 7 vials of God's wrath. They were all poured on the wicked and the followers of the Antichrist after the 7 trumpets sounded. After the command of a loud voice from the temple, the first vial poured onto the earth. Man and the mark on the beast suddenly had grotesque and painful sores. The second vial was poured onto the sea, which then became blood when every living creature in the city dies. The third vial was poured onto the rivers and springs of water, which became blood. With it, the angel in charge of the waters makes a speech in praise of God's justice, which is echoed by a voice from the altar. The fourth vial was poured onto the sun, which scorched the people around them, whose curse the name of God and do not repent. The fifth vial was poured on the throne of the beast, a thick darkness engulfing the kingdom, and the wicked still will not repent. The sixth vial was poured onto the Euphrates River, the iconic river in the Persian lands. The water dried up, so the kings of the east will cross. This game does not go into detail on what this vial actually does, but this is the vial which leads to Armageddon. The 7th and final vial is poured out into the air, with a great voice from the throne that says, "It is done." All these lurings and speeches made by the Brainjack people point towards the potential apocalypse of Abraxas. Whether this is what Voyager wanted is undetermined yet, but the Zohar is what actually lets people who contact it make connections with the UMN, and those act as gods. Eric and Dmitry Yuriev are the people who have only made contact with Udu in the story, and thus either one of them could become Voyager. It was even confirmed that Dmitry could be the first Voyager, but unlike Dmitry, Eric came into contact with Udu because of his condition. The vials that he took to help with his congenital impairment in his brain helped him connect to the UMM more greatly. With his net addiction, the contract from God or Udu, the Zohar and Abraxas, the connection between the two factors in the people of the Zohar, and everything Eric had admitted to us. This is why Voyager is the Pied Piper of Hamlin, or Abraxas. Okay, I think this is a good time to get back into the game here. But yeah, Voyager, honestly, what a great character. What a great setup. What a great, like, just twist that Eric was Voyager all along. It's just such a great, like, just having to know that Voyager was just always somebody that was on the linchpin, basically. Just somebody that, like, we spent so much time with, and that, like, he's just been, we all had put our trust into, and especially Jan put his trust into, all for it to just basically go to waste in the end. He's such a very memorable character in this game just because of that alone, and knowing that what it all led up to was just basically his own demise, basically, and just having to go through it all at the end of the day. So, anyways, we have now made it to the ground floor of the Archon Cathedral. Next time on Xenosaga Pied Piper, we will press forward into the endless Udu abyss in hopes of Voyager showing up. Until next time, see you on the other side!